Hi guys, it is Tammy with Cheers to Creativity, and I am playing with a new gadget I got for Christmas. It is an Archon mount, which are supposed to be phenomenal for helping people who do a lot of the lives. And that way I should be able to, when I pull you up, be able to see comments much easier. Let me see. Get rid of this. So bear with me a little bit as I'm trying to get it all working right. When you pop on, let me know. And I am going to, in due time, be showing you how to do a heart wreath with an inspirational saying or New Year's saying. If you happen to see the pre-post, it was kind of inspired by the chalkboard I did for our New Year's Eve. Trying to stay a day ahead of things. So I'm going to point you down and hopefully see you very soon. And I will hopefully be able to catch comments a little better, being able to see what you see. Okay, so let's go down. I did mine, I'm going to be doing mine on one of my mixed media pads. All I did was I took gesso and give it a quick cover. I don't care if it's perfect because of what I'm going to be painting on it. Let's see if I can scoot you just a touch closer to me. There. All right. So I just use gesso. If you don't have gesso, you certainly could just use paint, or if you don't want to have a background such as that, you could even just decoupage some thing on there. I'm just trying to cover it up because my mixed media pads are from Canson and they have this bright blue background, and it'd be kind of hard to just paint a design right on top of that. And I just remembered something I forgot. Let's see if this helps us at all. I think we're okay. Yeah. Should give us a little more light. Okay, so I don't have a finished project to show you here because, like I said, I did it on our chalkboard upstairs, and it'd be a little hard to bring that down. So all I did was put some painter's tape on my edge so I wasn't getting it all the way over. And I could peel that off. I could have taped all the way around to give it a border. The right way? I think this way. All right. I'm going to show you how I'm going to draw this heart wreath, but there are other options out there. You can use stencils. You can just wing it. I wanted to show you a couple things that are available out there. If you want to go with just a simple wreath, this is Essential Stencil. And this is one of their packages that comes 3 in a pack, and it's called Love Never Fails. And it has, we love because he first loved us. These are all Bible verses, of course. He restores my soul, and love never fails. And with those, each of those is a different wreath. So that's one way you can utilize having something like stencils and then using them in other ways. The other thing I wanted to show you was that you hear the ambassadors from Essential Stencil talk about, talk about Stencil of the Month Club. There are a lot of things that come through the Stencil of the Month Club that I end up using over and over again. And a lot of those are kind of wreath elements. I just see your comments for a second, see if I can catch them again. Somebody said they were somewhere where it was snowing. We are supposed to be getting snow very soon. Western Iowa. Oh, Deb. Yeah. So we're supposed to be getting snow and having snow for New Year's this year. So I guess that's okay. We don't plan on going out anywhere, so it's fine. Okay. Stencil of the Month Club. Just to show you some of the things that you're missing by not being a part of it, this is one laurel wreath that had 4 different ways that you could do a laurel wreath. And a laurel wreath would just connect the opposite way to complete it all the way around, or you can use half of it and then do half below writing and leave a space. That was from 11 of 19. And the nice thing about the Stencil of the Month Club is once you join, if there are any remaining stencils, you can back order them. This is one that was from January of this year. And look at all the extra hearts it has. And this was actually one of the extras that we can add on. But it had so many fun heart shapes. And even, I'm going to show you how you can use lines like this to help when you're hand lettering things. Again, just another way to utilize stencils in more than one way. Same thing, like kind of like with the laurel wreath that we saw. This one has a little bit of a vine up and down, and this one was to do personalized signs that said the Muto family or the Hanson family or whoever you happen to be. But again, being able to reuse those things is always nice. One other one that came this year was in May of this year. A little smaller, but you've got the little circle wreath. And then it had some fun words and came with some different flowers that we could add to it if you liked. And most recently, in the 12 of 2020, was this hexagonish shaped wreath. Not that it's hexagon, but square shaped wreath. That was really fun to use, whether you used it just as it's shown here, or if you turned it a quarter of a turn, you could make it even more layers. So that's just something fun to think about. The Stencil of the Month Club has exclusive stencils. You can only get them through Essential Stencil, and you have to be a member of Stencil of the Month Club to be able to order back ones. So if you want to use our code CHEERS, you get $5 off your first month. And also always remember, using CHEERS when you order stencils gets you 10% off, even if it's on sale. So let's get started with drawing our art stencil. Let's see if I'm going the right way. Is it the right way? Perhaps, perhaps not. I think much better when I can see your comments. Okay. I'm going to show you my cheat way of doing a heart. So this is just a blank piece of paper. And the first thing I would need to do is to measure my paper to see where my center is. So in this particular case, this is 9 inches wide. So I would want to mark the middle of my top of my heart, which is going to be 4.5 inches here. Just a little mark. And then I'd want to mark where I want my bottom of my heart to be. So again, finding 4.5 inches. And then my other trick is to decide how wide I want my heart and mark that either up at the, if you want your fattest part to be up here, or if you want your fattest part to be a little lower, wherever you want your fattest part to be. Let's put this in the middle, or 4.5. So if I want my fattest part of my heart to start here and come up about maybe here, that's coming in about 2 inches. So I'm just going to give myself a little mark, 2. And on this side, a little mark, 2. That way I know when I come up, I want to be at the same spot both ways. Okay? And you can do that all the way down by measuring and coming up with a close to perfect heart. I don't ever pretend to do things perfectly, but this at least gives me an idea that when I start sketching out my heart, I want to hit that point on each side at the same spot. And then work my way down at an angle to get to my point down below to give it kind of close to a right thing. I'm going to be doing that on here, and I would be doing it with chalk. But again, I'm going to see how much I have to work with. I'm going to flip this around just for me for right this second. So I've got about 9 here too, so I'm going to go with that 4.5, a little mark. I'm going to go down here and mark where I want my bottom to be. 4.5. And for me, that's going to be enough to just kind of let me know where I want it to go. I don't really care if my tops are exactly even on this. You might want them to be. Let's see what we got. Okay. 6 to 8 inches of snow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to take a plate. I was trying to be so organized today. It really has not worked in my favor. And I'm going to take, because this is dark, it's black, I don't want to go with a dark brown, so I'm going to go with a medium brown color here. This happens to be Deco-Art Honey Brown. And I'm just going to take a liner brush. Any brush you're comfortable with, even if you wanted to use more of a round, that would be fine. I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I know I want this to be the bottom, so I'm going to do this. This is going to be a viney heart, so it can be a little sketchy. I'm going to work my way up this way. I'm going to start at my middle, at my top. Little short, little sketchy lines to start with. Follow a curve around. And I got a real sketchy outline of a heart. And then I'm going to start, and I'm just going to make little lines that go in each direction all the way around my heart. This is going to have several colors, so I'm not going to worry that some of them are a little heavier, some of them are a little lighter. You think about like a grapevine, and that's what you would actually have. Some spots being thicker, some being thinner. As we are finishing up 2020, many of us are thinking about what we want to achieve for the new year. And I think it's a great time to give yourself a couple goals. And they don't always have to be grandiose goals. They can be something as simple as, I'm going to walk the dog by noon every day. We've been working really hard on some business goals because we want to have some big changes in 2021 for Cheers to Creativity. We really enjoyed what we've done this year. If you didn't see, I started at the top again, and I'm just going down the opposite side. And you can decide if you want your bottom to crisscross. I think I do. All right, so there's the beginning of my heart. I can choose to switch colors, or I can go back with the same color. I think I'm going to pick up a little darker color. This is cinnamon? No, this is burnt sienna. I apologize. Thought I knew what I was watching. Oops, lots of paint there. It's good. Finding this to be a little bit of a too short of a liner for me to get the wispies I want. So I think I'm going to pick up a little longer liner. It's all personal preference, but I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to pull some paint, and I'm just going to start. Some might come off of the lighter ones I did. The grapevine base that I'm kind of creating can be done in any shape. Some of them come off of there, some of them come off my center. Some might be shorter, some longer. And then I'll come back up and I'll do the same thing off of my point up here, going in the opposite direction. A little more water. I'm very big into inspirational quotes and things that make us just be in a more positive state of mind. I try to post them when I see them, or a lot of times they are the inspiration for some of my paintings, especially ones that have anything to do with nature. I just find it a little challenging to know what to paint this time of year. I'm not quite ready for Valentine's yet, but that seems to be what's hitting our stores already. So a lot of times I find it good to use this time to work on some quotes, or even ask you guys what you'd like. Just come back and add what you want. You're in there. I think I'm going to add another color. Make this as thick of a heart as you like. I decided to do this on the mixed media pad because this one is fairly empty. So maybe I can make this mine for 2021. I think I'm going to pick up just a little bit of a green. This is a medium colored green. It's actually aloe. It might be a little light, but it's okay. Let these be a little curlier coming out of there. So I would love to know what you guys would like to see painted this year. Do you have anything that you are hoping to accomplish in your painting, in your decorating? I think we're going to see a lot more of staying at home emphasis. Can't wait for things to get back to normal, but I don't think that's going to happen overnight. So let's all just remember to be safe and enjoy those we can be with. Being a little shakier with these. I'm going to add a few leaves in here as well, so I just want to get a little extra color happening. Oh. So on the chalkboard I did upstairs, I actually did hearts. I did hearts that were filled in, and I did hearts that were just the outline of. So you could use hearts, you could use just dots, you could really embellish this with just about anything you want. I'm going to pick up a little bit of a coral color, I think. Oops, that color needs some serious shaking. So it's not really red, it's more of a corally color. And I'm going to go back to my round brush. Let me show you something really quick. There's a very easy way to make hearts. It is taking the round end of your brush and dipping it into your paint and putting one dip, one dot. And then take it and dip it again, one dip, one dot. And from those two puddles of paint, pull down from each one of them. and you can create a perfect little heart. Another way to get a quick heart is by using your round brush and I do this way I can, setting it down, pulling, setting it down, and pulling toward the middle, and then filling in to round it off. I tell you, that didn't work as well as I wanted to. Let's try this way. I'm used to going, setting down, pull toward me, set it down, pull toward me, and that way I actually have a decent heart. But if you're looking for a really, really fast, easy way to do hearts, one dip, one dot, one dip, one dot right next to it, and then taking your round or liner brush, just pull down. I have a quick little heart. All right, get the paint off of that. So I'm going to do a couple hearts around here, and then we'll get on to doing some writing. So I'm just going to kind of freehand a couple. Might fill some in. I purposely don't want mine to be perfect. I kind of want them to be every which way. Some that are just an outline of a heart. You could certainly use a stencil to do this if that would be easier for you to do. Especially if you're looking for a perfect heart. Which, as I said, I'm not. I just kind of want to have the outline of a couple. Do an outline of one here. The nice thing, if you do an outline and it doesn't quite work the way you want, you just fill it in. Still painting backwards. I've got to figure out a way so I'm not painting backwards with you guys. I'm hoping the new mount will help with that substantially. We were fortunate to have a very, very nice time over the holiday with the Christmas holiday with our grandchildren, and they'll be spending some more time with us this week. It's so great having them live close by. Do a couple more here. I might need to switch this around so I can finish off those bottom ones real quick. Just churning this. Some of those hearts are a little wonky, but that's okay. We'll fill a couple in this way. And hearts don't really grow on vines, but hey, this is where we get to interpret whatever we want. And like I said, I'm going to add just a couple leaves into my wreath as well, just to fill it in a little more. So there I've got my heart with my heart with my hearts. Okay. I'm going to take a flat brush, any size that you like, and I'm just going to dampen my brush and tap it on a paper towel. That was not a paper towel. And I have a couple shades of green. I've got the green that I put on with the vine, and then I've got a lighter shade of green too, which is sea glass. And I'm going to use a little bit of both. And I might mix them within my brush as well. Boy, I feel like my paints haven't been shooken up in weeks. I know that's not true. I'm going with these lighter greens just because I have the darker background. I'm pulling my paint on each side so I have a nice flat chisel on my brush. And I'm going to set my brush down. And I'm going to twist it and pick it up so it comes to a little bit of a point. I'm just setting it down and twisting it to a point. I like to call these flick leaves because I'm really not paying a lot of attention to them. I'm setting them down and I'm twisting and picking them up. And I don't want a ton of these, just a few to fill in. Setting it down, turning, and then picking it up. And a couple more here. And I'm going to pick up do a couple of those with the light green too. You could switch size of your brush if you wanted them to be smaller. Didn't clean my brush between them at all. Just let them kind of flow. I'm going to add just a couple little dots in here. I think I'm going to go with a light purple dot. Could go with a white dot too, or I might go with both. Who knows? Either using a stylus, which is a dotting tool, or just the tip of your brush. And just setting down some little clusters of these dots. If you wanted them all to be perfect size, you would go in with your stylus. Your pressure on your brush is going to vary them a little more. You can make them clusters of as many as you like. When you're working on doing any kind of a grapevine wreath like this, you can leave it as simple as you want. The more you add to it, the more interest there is. And again, if I wanted to, I could come back with white dots and add to it, but I think I'm going to let it go for now. I have added those dots, so I've got to be careful that I'm not putting my hands in those when I am getting ready to do the inside of my painting. This is where I like to either go ahead and use a stencil of some saying I like, or print it out. If I print it out, I normally would just lay the paper down and use graphite paper. And graphite paper comes in black and white and some other colors as well. Or you can always make your own. If I was working on this dark surface, I probably would rub the back of it with chalk and then just go over it with a stylus to transfer it to, if I was looking to use exact from the printing. I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm going to turn this around and cheat. Well, I'm not cheating. This is how I normally would paint. And I'm just going to go ahead and give myself some very light chalk lines so I know where I'm going to be putting my words. I had chalk, that would help. So I chose to do New year, fresh start, open mind, grateful heart. So I'm going to lay my ruler down. Just give me some very light chalk lines. The chalk will brush right off of this. That's why I'm choosing to use chalk instead of pencil, which would be a little harder to get off. So that's going to be my first one. That's going to be my next line. And then this will be for grateful. And heart. You can sharpen your chalk with just a pencil sharpener. That'll give you a nicer point if you're going to be writing your words with it. I'm going to just freehand mine. I think I'm going to just give it a whirl on just using my handwriting that I have going today. So I want my words to be just a little different, so I'm going to make my first word very blocky. I think I'll just use a little bit of we'll use a darker purple. I've got a dark background, so I need to make sure I'm using colors that are at least going to show up. So I'm not going to be using dark colors. So start with new. Again, I'm being careful, trying to be careful to keep my hands out of this. So I'm going to take what my first line is going to be, which is going to be New Year, N-E-W, there'll be a space, Y-E-A-R. So that means I have 8 letters that I'm going to be, using here. So my middle, using my middle points, is where my space will be. I just try to keep that in mind as I'm starting. And I said I'm just going to do very blocky letters for my first one, so just a nice straight line down. What I did upstairs was I made new, all capital. And I did year more cursive. I'm going to change my color for year though. And I came back and gave little serifs on the bottoms and the tops of my letters. So there's my new. We're going to go with the lighter peachy color that I have. Boy, I tell you, all these paints need to be shooken up so much. Don't know why I'm not able to keep my comments on. It would be so nice to do that. I do go back and look at comments. If you have any questions or have any suggestions of what you'd like to paint this year, let me know. I'm going to just use my round brush. Find it easier when I'm doing cursive writing to pull most of the letters toward me. And they don't always just flow. Sometimes I have to connect them as I go. Make my Y a little wider. So got my new year. I'll go with one of the greens for fresh. And again, I'm going to just make that more of that block. And every line accounts, so it's F-R-E-S-H space S-T-A-R-T. So it's 11. So my middle is going to be my 6th character. So it's F-R-E-S-H. Once again, it's my space. You could certainly use stencils for this. I like the look of hand lettering, even though I'm not all that great at it. And there's my fresh, and I'm going to come back and do something to the edges of those. Maybe because I did the serifs in those, I'll just add some dots to these. Again, you can use my stylus, or I'm just going to use the tip of my brush, try to keep them all about the same. So I've got my fresh. Choose how I'm going to do start and which color I'm going to use. I'm going to pick up a blue, and this is baby blue. And see if I can do a little fancier lettering. When I'm pulling to use my liner, I'm pulling from the puddle and kind of twirling my brush a bit. Depending on the consistency of the paint, you may need to add just a touch of water to help it flow a little better. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Staying on the tip of my brush as much as I can. Loading up as I need. So I have new year, fresh start. And I missed a line, so we're going to have to adjust this. So I'm going to have to remove the ones I put down there because I missed a line. But like I said, that will come off very easily. If it didn't come off right away, I would just be taking a damp paper towel because I need to get open mind, grateful heart in here. So I need to come up with one more line, and these are just going to be a little smaller writing. So again, I can give myself a line. And then I can do grateful here. And I can leave heart right where it was at. All right. So my next lines are going to be open mind. And again, just picking a color. I could keep the same colors going. And I'm going to go with a little darker blue. I like the mixed colors. Makes it fun. And I'm going to go with my little brush here. A little more cursive-y. Open. Go back to my darker color I had of that peachy color. Make this more blocky. Changed my mind. Open mind. I'm going to go with my lighter green for grateful. Again, should be counting my letters in all these. I'm going to freehanding and just going with the flow. Can come back and add a little more paint where little light. New year, fresh start, open mind, grateful heart. And I'm going to go in with just a more of a red. And if it doesn't show up, I might need to make it into a pink. And I can see it's going to be a little dark, so I'm going to add some white to make it more of a pink. It's painting on the fly, so let's mix up a little pink. There we go. I'll go back over what I started. Kind of like the red and the pink mixing together. It gives it some fun variation. And if I had any areas that I needed to come back and fix up any places I may have stuck my hand in, I can just do that with either a touch of the black gesso or just some black paint. And right in my E, so this is how you can see somehow you have to come back in and just gonna clean up a letter here and there. I'm gonna let my lettering dry before I take off the chalk because it is still wet. And I don't want to smear everything I did. But it's a fun way to have a journal or a mixed media pad that you can use year-round. When I'm finished with this, I think I'm going to spatter it with just a little bit of a color. I don't want it to look like snow. I just want it to have a little bit of speckling to it. So I think I might just go with that light blue color and just take a stiff brush and just let a little color fly off of there. I'm sure I have a stiff brush, but we're going to use this one instead, a little light blue. And just pull my fingers across the bristle of the brush. Just have a little flex, kind of covers up any unintended goofs we may have had. Got lots of projects planned for our membership this year, which is Already an Angel, and that will be opening up very soon. It's where we do a lot more detailed projects and get into different ways where we can be creative. So I've got that all finished. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this off. I still have a nice clean area where my tape edge is. And because I used the painter's tape, I didn't mess that up at all. So that is today's little project for you. If you've got any questions, let me know. I hope you are enjoying the last few days of 2020. While it may be a year we want to forget, I hope there is something that has warmed your heart and that you can find positive from the year, and that you can look forward to an even much better year as we embrace 2021 coming up very, very soon. So I thank you for your time for watching, and until I see you again, please be safe, be kind. Cheers. Bye-bye.